Good morning, folks. Hi, Phil McPhail here with Andy Graves, and we're back for episode 2 of the Fire Tower house build here in the town of Lincoln. So far, Andy's got a lot of progress done. We started, the first video showed you his planning stage and some of the prep work that was done here on the ground, and now there's a lot of work that's been done. I think you want to stick around and see everything that he's got in place already. So Andy, you want to give us a little recap of all the work that you've got done so far?
Yeah, we've been able to make great progress, all things considered. We had a little issue with the weather for a while, but we got past that and was able to get trucks in and out. So we've got the foundation in, the steel has been put up, we've got the Douglas fir beams in place, we've got the main deck in place for the actual building part of it. Prepping now for the slabs, which should be done within the next few days.
Okay, so excellent.
Yeah.
So the first thing I guess I want to ask you about is the concrete pour. Who'd you have do that for you?
SBBC Concrete out of Enfield.
Yeah.
Jason Furnette's the owner. We met on another project years ago, and we've done a couple projects together.
Okay.
Did a really nice job. Super happy with all that.
Great. So the concrete, tell us a little bit about what we have here. What's the size of this base?
Well, the base is 24 by 24 with columns on each corner that have to line up perfectly with the steel.
Okay.
And that was really fun to watch come together because it lined up perfectly. And everything is really nice. They've lined up and done. Now we're getting prepped. We had to backfill it and compact everything, and now we're getting ready to put the slab on top of the foundation for the main floor.
So all of these bolts that were in place here for the beams were set in the concrete.
That's correct.
And that's I know that was a big concern of yours to make sure that.
Very
and
much
I remember coming up here while they were doing it, and we were looking at it, going, "Is this really going to line up?" And
and there was a lot of different thoughts that went through, and it lined up perfectly. And there is a ton of rebar because of the nature of the structure in it. And they like I said, they nailed it. They really got it perfectly done.
So you did have some challenges while you were pouring concrete. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had some weather move in. We had a little bit of snow a couple different times. We were able to, getting trucks in and out was a challenge. We were battling with posted roads. We got past all of that. Pulled a couple favors here or there to get that stuff done, and it worked out really, really well.
You had to cover some of the concrete because of the weather too.
We did, because of the temperatures. We were concerned about freezing and whatnot, so we had blankets, covered everything with blankets once it was poured, and let it set that extra little bit of time to make sure. And everything came out really, really well.
Yeah, I'm impressed. So after the concrete was poured, you had Glenn Porter back here on site for quite a while.
Actually,
Tell us what he did.
Glenn was actually a huge help with the whole process of the foundation as well. We were literally taking concrete around with a bucket and putting it into places that was hard to reach. We had a pump truck in here the day that we actually did the foundation, but he still was a huge help and continues to be.
Yes.
He got everything backfilled. He put the gravel in tiers and compacted everything and got it prepped. And I can't thank him enough because he's been a great friend, you know, throughout the whole process.
And what else did he do? I think he did some septic system.
He did. He's got the septic system roughed in and ready to put in place. We were able to bring the power in and get a pole set. We made, within the foundation, we've got prep for the sewer out, water in, and electricity. We're bringing the electric in underground. So that's all in place. So we're prepped and ready.
So there's not going to be any exposed wires or anything from the pole in, you're burying it underground.
Yeah, from the pole in, it's going to be all underground. It should really help with the view and overall everything, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I agree. So now that we've talked about the concrete and the ground prep, the next thing that came in was the steel. Tell us, who'd you get the steel from, and how did that whole process come together?
I actually, Bill French and his son Brian, who own Linsco Steel Company down in Brewer.
Okay.
And I met Bill on another project years ago, and was the obvious choice, and called him, and we went at it. And they prepped everything in Brewer, brought it up, all painted and prepared to go up. And again, going back to everything lined up perfectly. And they put it together and got it all. It was probably more like a 3.5 day process. And Bill was courteous and kept the crane here for us, so he was able to bring the Doug fir up after the steel was done, and it fell together really nicely.
So these 4 uprights on the side, what are the sizes of these?
The columns, I believe, are 10 by 10.
Yeah.
And they're all you know, spec'd out. That was
23
going back to Haley War.
23 feet
I think
tall,
they're
roughly?
22, 23 feet tall. The actual base is 22 by 22, and then we overhang and get the sizes we planned for. But
And
again,
everything's all bolted together.
Yeah, all bolted together. The columns have been all grouted in, and the next, like I say, the next thing will be the foundation, the slabs.
During the steel construction, you run into any problems?
We were very lucky. We had a window of time, a 2 or 3 day, 3 or 4 day window of beautiful weather. The wind didn't blow, and we were able to get it together in a hurry. And super happy with how well that went.
I was here for a couple hours of it.
Quite a bit of it, yeah.
And I was really impressed on how well that crew worked together.
Yeah.
Getting that up there.
It really went together nice.
Those aren't little pieces of steel.
No, we were very fortunate. Great group of guys.
Excellent.
Did a good job.
And I was going to ask you about the painting, and this is it a special paint that's on there?
It is. It's to be honest, I don't know a lot of the details. It's an epoxy-based 2-part system, and it's primed in advance, and then they put the system on. They put that on. And you
did tell me there was a few dings and that happened during the raising and getting it on off the truck. So you got to do some touch-up painting.
We will. At this point, I'm going to hold until we're complete, and then I'll touch everything up.
Yep. All right. So now that the steel was up, your next process was getting these big Douglas fir beams up here, right?
Yes. So we were able to take them up with the crane, and we got them up roughly where they needed to be, and then each one needed to be drilled and pinned with big long bolts, and that was a 3 or 4 day process, maybe more, and lined up and perfectly set. And they're not small, so there's a bit of a challenge moving them around.
How big are the top ones?
They're 6 by 12 by 18, and we split in the middle, and the bottom ones were 6 by 12 by 24.
Yeah.
And we split a couple of those to get our overhang for our staircase coming up.
And they're what, 2 feet, 3 feet on center up there?
Actually, 3'4", I believe, at the widest point.
So Andy, where did the beams come from?
They came down from Canada. We were able to order them through S.W. Collins right here in town, in Lincoln. Yeah. And they were able to find them for me and did a great job of digging around, and fairly unique buy. Yeah. And found them, and we got them in a more friendly price point, and we ordered them a couple weeks in advance, and we had them. And
so 2 weeks from the time you ordered them till delivery?
A couple, 3 weeks.
Nice.
3 weeks at the most. But we went and ordered the staircase parts. Will be for the future, I suppose, but they also within a week had them.
So what was the thought? Why Douglas fir? Was that a wood you always wanted to work with? Because we don't have any of it here in Maine.
Maybe that's part of it. I think the biggest thing was the size of it.
Right.
So to get something local, and it's an incredible wood. It's all but you don't even really have to do much to it. It should withstand the weather and all the conditions that we run into.
Is it a real heavy? It's a real heavy.
It is. It's pretty dense. Yeah. It's quite a product, really.
Now that the Douglas fir beams are up, I wasn't here for any of the deck work, so kind of walk us through how you got that built and on the top of this structure.
Yeah. Well, it was our lead carpenter. He came up with the idea of building it in sections and taking it up in sections, and it worked really well. We took it up and got it all pinned and got it squared up, and we put the Advantech on for the base, and now we're prepared for the actual walls and the deck. We're going to do all the decking around it and the railing in advance, and then we'll start building the actual building.
So that deck is 24 square, is that right?
It is, yep, 24 by 24. Yeah.
And that's 2 by 8?
We used 2 by 8s, yeah. It was engineered to do 2 by 6s, but we went to a 2 by 8 just to give us a little extra room for drains and our that type stuff.
So are you going to insulate that lower section?
We are, yeah. We'll insulate that.
You going to do a spray foam? Or?
Well, possibly a spray foam. That's still up for a decision.
Okay.
We're working on a couple different thoughts. And of course, we'll finish the underneath, so it'll look nice from the middle floor looking up. It'll
look like a ceiling.
Yes.
From that second level.
And we'll have some lighting in it and whatnot too, so that'll all be done. And I thought with the 2 by 8s, that little bit extra space would be useful.
Yeah. Hey, if you're enjoying following along with this build, don't forget, like and share this video with some of your friends and hit that subscription button. That way you won't miss episode 3 when we launch that. So Andy, we've covered everything you've done to this this part so far. What's the next step in the process for you?
Well, hopefully the slabs will be poured in the next week or so, and we have the staircase parts and pieces here. I'd like to get that done sooner rather than later, so that just give us access up and down.
Yes.
We're going to deck everything over. Made a decision to go with the PT decking, and we'll get that done. We'll get the deck around the top done as well, and I'm hoping to put all of the railing up. We're going to use a 6x6. I was able to find some post bases that I ordered, and I have them down at home in the shop, and we're going to get that railing. I believe we're going to use a hog wire type setup with a nice big chunky top cap.
Would it be a wood cap?
There will. There'll be
wood cap?
like a 2x8 or 10 all the way around the whole thing. And
How high is that? I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people would be pretty nervous standing up there 23 feet in the air. So how high is that railing?
We've had a lot of discussions about that, and that's still, the completed number is still weighted, but it will be at least 40 inches, I believe. And
what is code, do you know?
Code is, I believe it's anywhere from 36 to 42, but that's one of the things we're confirming and checking.
Yeah. Okay.
We want to make sure we get that right, especially because of the height of things.
Right.
And
you said hog cable?
Hog wire. They
hog
call
wire
it. It's a fairly strong or heavy duty cage like.
It's kind of a mesh
piece.
cage.
It comes in sheets. I believe they're 4x20.
Yeah.
4 or 5x20.
I believe I've seen it. It comes painted usually.
I've used it. We've used it on several of our projects, and it's my biggest thought was something strong, and that would be because of the nature of what we're doing.
Someone fell up against it.
Exactly.
They're not going to go pushing through it.
Exactly, and we also could use it as you can see through it, and you should be able to look at it and almost disappear when you're looking out at the views.
Right.
So that's kind of the thought process on that.
So that's a lot of extra work that's going to be in the next episode that we release, and we're not sure exactly when that's going to happen.
Well, hopefully within the next 5 to 6 weeks.
5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So make sure you stay tuned so you don't miss it. Beyond that work that's going to be done, the next step is going to be standing up the building, the walls, and roofing, right?
Yes.
And how are you going to get the roofing up there, Andy?
Well, the thought right now, we'll finalize the actual interior design. That's in the works. And then we've got a truss system that we're thinking about putting together on the ground and swinging the whole roof up at one time with a big crane. And I think just from a safety standpoint, it worked really, really well. Never done that. Seen it done, but looking forward to the challenge of trying to do it.
I'm sure you'll find somebody qualified to help you if you need to.
We've got some great people.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, thanks for taking the tour again here on episode 2. Stick around for episode 3 coming up in 5 to 6 weeks, hopefully, assuming we get weather to cooperate with us.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks again for taking the tour.
Thank you.